It's political season, and all the various political players are expressing their thoughts on their manifesto. We've seen quite a few, and we'll continue to see more as we go by. But we'd like to open our phone lines to Nigerians today. What exactly are you expecting from the new administration that will emerge next year? Because we've had a few people speak on what they will say, and some of them come across as vague. Some have tried to be more specific. Others seem to have a good intention. You know, some say, I want to turn Nigeria to a producing nation. Others say, I want to hit a GDP, at least a double-digit GDP. Others have said they want to hire about 1.5 million security for both military and policemen. Many, many promises have been made. But what do Nigerians need? How do you feel? And what do you think our leaders should make as priority? That's our conversation today. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Doctor, you read a story, I think was one of the candidates that was telling us plans. Let's see a few of the things you've heard so far.
So specifically, it was a gubernatorial candidate for Enugu State. I believe his name was Frank Nweke, and I read him saying that the challenges within the Enugu State region had become, the security had become worse in Enugu State, and he was advising the current governor that before the change of power during the election, what can we do now? And he was saying that first, every traditional ruler must be brought on board. Many of them know the boys in their community. Many of them know, they know themselves better, and they must be integrated into buying into the security challenges and taking ownership of the challenges within their locality. He also said that the vigilantes, because we know that bandits are usually in the forest. Yeah. So he mentioned how all the vigilantes that are operating in small silos within the state must be brought to attend that general meeting with all the chiefs of all the local governments. So everybody knows you are interacting with each other. This is what I asked from you and you did not give me. This is what I need from you. This is your the forest around your village I'm trying to access, and I know the bandits are there. And so it's everybody knows that we have a common goal to protect our forest so that businesses can thrive in that community. So he was asking the governors to set up the Security Council, and not just by words, but back it up with action. When I heard it, I was really impressed because I felt like, okay, yes, we've heard it. We've heard a few of these things, but it's just small gatherings, talk shop here. And I remember when Oyo State was trying to deal with the first phase of their challenge, was the way to resolve that issue was to bring in traditional rulers. Because the governor was saying that time that they were having Fulani, there was attacks clash between Fulani and the way they were able to quell it at that time was by involving traditional rulers and letting them understand what their stake was, bringing in the traditional, the custodians of Fulani settlements around, and they were able to bring a bit of peace at that time. Security right now is worrisome.
I mean, BC, what are your thoughts on all that you've heard, various candidates coming up saying all sorts of things, and what, as a Nigerian, what do you think should be priority? We've had issues on education, healthcare, roads, infrastructure, and, you know, we've had some of these promises before. I was saying, what exactly do we want?
For me, we're still looking at the issues from the top. The political parties have not really gotten my attention in terms of trying to solve the matter from the root, where you have to uproot the cankerworm that has eaten deep into the society. And for me, I'll be looking forward to a candidate who would say, we're going to deal with corruption from the top to the bottom. That's one. Because when we take out corruption, you see that the funds that are supposed to be used to, you know, equip our security forces will be deployed properly and they will be able to do their job. You will see that the people who know the sponsors of banditry, Boko Haram, will mention their names and they will be taken, whether they are part of government or not, they will be lifted from that point. You see that civil servants who are supposed to be doing their job, signing their papers, will get there on time, do their job, they will be efficient. You see that we will not have issues with power. Corruption is at the root. of everything that is happening, even when it comes to education. The funds that are supposed to be used in the universities, the university generating mechanism would also be used properly to attend to the university, so that we're not going back and forth waiting for government to give this bill, revitalization bill, and the other. We'll see that when we take out that corruption from top to bottom, we would have solved, you see, all these other issues that we're seeing is the aftermath of the main issue that we have overlooked.
Interestingly,
I've not seen anybody who has, told me that when they get into government, we're spending so much, we want to cut it because we want to see how the funds can.
I think Obi said that.
Let me pause you for a second, because that's an interesting perspective, because I haven't heard any of the candidates talk about corruption, and I think they've been careful, because that's what our Buhari used to enter, fight corruption. But I think everybody's being careful that maybe we can't fight corruption. Maybe somewhat we have to have a way to work with this such that at least there's some serious menace. But we'll come to that, because you never know, maybe this is just a perspective, because I haven't seen any of the candidates project corruption as a major thing they want to fight. But let me come to you and your thoughts on what you expect from these candidates that are coming forward.
So I've not really seen any of the documents in totality. I've just been listening. So maybe there's a bulletin, there's a news headline, there's something on one or two things. So you really cannot dissect the documents as you would love to. But I also wanted to harp on the issue of corruption, because I believe that we have a culture of corruption. It is culturally accepted for us to make money anyhow. Just have the money. Or to get away with things just because you have money. Money just, and when everybody has that mentality in some way, maybe in different levels, maybe somebody's own is lower, yours is higher, then, we see people accepting what we should not. We should have clarity. We should clearly have a side. It's either you don't want something or you want it. And this means that when you arrest somebody in relation to, just as we they arrested somebody in relation to fraud yesterday in Kogi State running for office, if he was of the main party, he was not of these mushroom parties, he will be in jail as well. He made headlines yesterday everywhere, because I personally feel because he doesn't have a relevance of any backing. If he doesn't, even though he has backing, put his head like this everywhere. That's the example you need to make. So that even if those of the generation that he's from have no shame, the children coming will not grow up shameless. We really need to be deliberate. And I hope that just because, when you need to run the kind of elections that we do here, you need people, anyhow people, and good people, and bad ones, just anyhow, just you need numbers. So you accept and promise and, show these largesse of you, I can take it all. And then when you come in, you really cannot hammer. You are choosing and selecting who to hammer. And we need to start that. You see the Chinese, when they started to fight and they wanted to grow their economy, they passed their laws and they had no holds barred. They continued with their enforcement. If you are found guilty for the offenses of fraud and like that, or mismanagement of public funds, you know what to come. Your family members know what to come. And they accept it, and nobody is shouting. It's not that it's our turn, it's our son.
Today, I was hearing when one of the candidates was saying that they're going to hire more security operatives. They're going to invest critically in ground and area surveillance. Those are great things, absolutely. But how do we handle youngsters who are taking advantage of this kidnap economy to just wear a camouflage or wear the military uniform, go out to express? Because we had a report recently of some young girl who was kidnapped. About 10 of them, some of them shot with fire. About 30 young people came together. Some of them were dressed in police uniforms. Some were dressed in military uniforms, came and kidnapped regular citizens. These are not some of those bandits that were in the bushes. These are just people taking advantage of this situation. So it's one thing to have aerial surveillance. It's another thing to say, what are we going to do to ensure that the mindset of people, that people can stop looking at this as an opportunity to make money. So there's much more than just having aerial surveillance.
What I would like to see when it comes to this is the end to negotiating. I'd like to see any of the presidential candidates that can give me, maybe not necessarily open, but just something close to, maybe because it's security again, and so you want to cover about certain areas. But let us know that when a person is picked up, or kidnapped, abducted in any way, that there will be immediate. Yes. There will be no delay, because the trend is that they will delay, and then they are waiting for one person to come and declare. there will be a trace immediately. If somebody is picked up, for instance, let's say, okay, Lagos is more modern. Let's use Borno, for instance. Close something, a town far from Maiduguri. As soon as the report comes out, immediately, there's somebody that will be deployed there and that will at least trace, not that will sit there and wait until somebody reaches out and then there's that should stop.
Yeah.
There should be an immediate, and that puts value to life.
Let me take this call from Stephen. Good morning, Stephen from London. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, good evening, ladies.
Good morning, sir.
I mean, good morning, ladies. Regarding the discussion going on, I would say the number one priority should be on security. You guys will definitely underestimate the level of insecurity in Nigeria.
That's not true.
One of the most painful experiences for me in my entire life is the last 2 times I came to Nigeria, I could not get to Ikiti. I'm an Ikiti man. Why? Because of the level of insecurity. The only other option was for me to go to risk my own life against the advice I was given by respectable people, by people who genuinely love me. It was most painful. Now, a place that is so insecure, how will somebody be motivated to want to invest in that place? So the only thing we try to do here is to help children to go to school, private universities, and all of that. But we could have done much more. You know, we have loved to invest, have a lot of investment here. Now, such investment I would have preferred to do more investment in my own country. But unfortunately, the level of insecurity.
Thank you very much for that point. That's a very, very valid point. Let me come to you because Nima said something about it. It's one thing to invest in insecurity or security, but the another point is the justice. So if you catch somebody, how soon, how fast do you even get to the person? Those are some other factors that make it look as if the government is doing nothing on insecurity. Let me come to you.
So everything, if we don't feel safe, we can't grow. Because one of the biggest challenges is that many people that can fund, can push growth within the system, push the economy, are not feeling safe, and so they can't put that money on ground. I've had conversations with, most of my investors are not living in Nigeria, they buy properties, and we've had that conversation, where are the places your land is? So I'm now having to look for places where there are already security establishments around the area, and I use that as a selling point. But it shouldn't be that way. Everybody should feel safe. Everywhere should be safe. When it comes to justice, what crime happens everywhere. The only thing is, the difference between crime happening here and happening in other countries is that when the crime happens in Nigeria, the people feel like if I'm not powerful to lobby the police, I might not even get the culprit arrested, or he might get released. If I don't have enough power, the judicial system might slow the case to the point where the complainant would give up. So the justice system reinforces all the rules we have put in place. And we cannot afford to have a justice system that seems partial, or seems slow, or seems incompetent, where you have workers within the judiciary going on strike because they don't have basic things that they should get. So if it means that if workers within the judiciary can go on strike because they are not being well taken care of, there's a loophole there that can lead to corruption happening within the judiciary. They are all linked. There's something one presidential candidate said on the show. The presidential candidate said that we must return dignity to human beings in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians, everybody cannot be wearing suits. Even if you're a cleaner, you clean with dignity. You must begin to respect people's hard work, so that everybody will not feel like criminality and anyhow I make money, once I make money, I'll be respected. Let's stop respecting wealth. Let's respect hard work and put dignity back in labor.
Let me take this call from John. Good morning, John. Are you there?
Yes, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I've just been listening to what you guys are saying, and my own point is quite different.
Please speak a bit clearer, John.
We have a very good.
We can't hear you very clearly. Now, yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'm saying, just assume we have a very good government that has everything working. My big problem is the mindset of our people. Our people's mindset is different, because even if you have Jesus Christ as Nigerian president, if the mindset of people is not in the right state. We're still going to come back to the same thing. The government are doing, if the government are able to already some relief to the people. So, for instance, you can say, people, what can you see? You have an overhead bridge, and people go there and steal the pipes on the overhead bridge. People taking up trucks on the train. So, at the end of the day, in as much as we are trying to focus on our leaders, let's focus on our people as well. Let our people change their mindset. Let's love ourselves. There's no love in Nigeria. People don't love each other. They're so self-centered and so selfish. It's all about ourselves. You know, we need to learn that first. We need to love ourselves first before we could government ourselves to do something. So even if we have somebody who is that very honest to come as the president, if our mindset is not changed, at the end of the day, we're still going back to zero. So the most important thing is our people ourselves. We need to have a good mindset and love one another.
Thank you so much. I think I like that point because mindset is such a crucial part that I don't think any of our candidates have really addressed. It's difficult to you can't flip a switch and change mindset. It happens over time. But there's got to be a deliberate action towards it. Because, I mean, the other day, I think in church, we're talking about righteous people must become, must get into leadership. I'm thinking, I don't want a righteous man there, with all due respect. I want somebody who's pragmatic, who can actually sign a death sentence and say, oh, no, because, please forgive him. He made so, leadership is not about just being a nice guy or being such a nice person. It's about doing what needs to be done to get the society fixed. It's about changing the mindset, like we're here to work. I'm not here to project poverty or glamorize poverty or, I'm here to fix a problem. So what are your thoughts on this issue of mindset? I like you said, because that's your area of expertise.
Yes. So like you said, it's not a flip. You can't just flip the switch and then the mindset changes. When it comes to human behavior, people model after what you show. If you're in a place of leadership, for instance, a father, a mother, raising children, you see that your children model after what you show. If you are used to telling lies, you tell them, go and tell my neighbor that I'm not around. Then they do it for you the first time, do it for you the second time. Before you know, they pick up that behavior. They will do it to you. They'll start lying to you because that's what they have seen you model. How did we degenerate into the corruption that we see today? Because all of a sudden, we began to celebrate politicians who would finish and then come and build mansions in their villages. And then when you are not that type of politician, your people will boo you. Did you not see Abaja doing this for their people? Did you not see that was how we started. Now, for us to go back and change the mindset altogether, our leaders need to show us that they belong to us, they are a part of us, we're all equal Nigerians. Of course, we know that at the end of the day, everybody is not equal. But you have to find a way to reduce that gap. And that is why I'm always saying that any leader who decides to come and lead us right now will decide to use the facilities in this country. You will stay here, you will do your medicals here, your children will school here, you will take the public buses if you want to take the public buses. If peradventure the government needs to buy cars, they won't be buying exotic cars every 3-6 months.
Let me pause you for a second, DC. Sorry, let me pause. Let me tell you, yesterday they said we must wear Nigeria, eat Nigeria, right? That's what I heard when I went to the event. But the moment I stepped outside, I was just seeing big Jeep, Toyota Cruiser, Land Cruiser. I'm like, So we must begin to think. Yes, we're going to wear Nigeria. So we must see how do we develop. Because yes, there are good plans to say, let us drive Nigeria. That's a fantastic idea. But we must begin to do it. So when I step outside from an event like that, I want to be seen innocent. I want to be seen Nigerian-made cars.
You can't just sit down as a leader, buy all the Toyota, and tell private people who are making their money
to buy their own Toyota.
Not to buy their own.
Hallelujah.
So you start it from the government house. Every government facility will be Nigeria. Over time, you see that people will just feel, why am I? Nobody's even looking at me when I bring the Toyotas. And private people will now begin to use Nigeria. But you must show that example as a leader. So if you have chosen to serve, be ready to serve well because we will drill you this time. We're not playing.
Let me talk to Shola and I'll come to you, Nima. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
You're live.
Good morning. Good morning. I think the main killer of this country is corruption. And corruption has to be fought down before this country can move ahead. You see, one thing I want to disagree with Obiajini this morning is that she said corruption should be fought from the top. Corruption should be fought from every level, from the top to the root, even right from inside our family. Because if we fail to fight corruption right from the root, it's from the root we'll get to stop. So corruption has to be fought from every level. Every level. And one thing Moraya mentioned this morning that I so much like is that she said none of the candidates have mentioned that part in their manifesto. You see, that is the opposition that this present government is having, because he mentioned fighting corruption, and corruption is now fighting back. And most of the people that are criticizing him are the most corrupt people that doesn't want this corruption to leave this country. But it has to be continually fought before this country can move ahead.
Thank you, Shola. Go ahead, Nima.
So I wanted to support BC that, the position of any public holder is that of an influencer, but we've mistaken it that, you have to be a verified page for you to be an influencer. So if we wanted to diversify this economy, the people who consume local rice the most are the public office holders. Yes. We're getting to December. If you sell local rice, they will not buy from you. They will tell you the taste of the entire public parastatal where they work is for foreign rice. And, even these private offices, when you approach them with your proposal that you want to supply, they will tell you to bring a sample. They tell you they have another option, and the person is clearly bagging foreign rice, and they will take it because that's the taste. So we are not serious when we say we want to do something. This is what is locally produced. So I am from Edo. The rice in Edo is a variant of ofada. They call it warake rice. It's a variant of ofada, but it doesn't have the smell of the Abeokuta ofada. But its fat and it's so rich. And if I now say, no, the smell no day, I'm being pretentious that I don't know that Edo will know the smell. It's like that. Saying, no, you want rice, but Thailand, their own is straight. How can your own not be straight? And that's the majority appetite of Nigerians. And it starts from that appetite down to your example of the cars. If a Nigerian is driving innocent, they will tell him he's not driving an American brand. Nigerians will look at him. It is the same Nigerians who are asking for the diversification who will not stop driving American brands and Japanese brands. Who will tell you the level of the car. Because they will tell you that, no, Nigerians' rice is not properly destoned. Sometimes you eat stone inside. You're starting your industry. Yeah. And they're improving, but it used to be. And they'll tell you innocent cars, when it breaks down, you have to take it to innocent place. Unlike the other brands, any mechanic can fix it. But you're starting your industry and you don't want to pay the price. Yeah. They'll tell you, so Nigerians, are we really serious about this diversification? You know why I said it is a culture of corruption? I'm not saying that it's only those in public offices who must change. But they will start this change for all of us to do it. Okay. And Nigerians, generally, this is our culture of taste, lifestyle, and everything. We need to do it. If this dollar that is 800 and something naira must come down, we are not earning any dollar, but we are dollarized. We import everything.
Now. Didn't you just read in the papers? Somebody has $610,000 in his account in Nigeria. Father, Lord have mercy. So let me let you wrap up because we have to go.
So for me, we don't need every human being in this country to change for Nigeria to change.
Hallelujah.
And it doesn't take a year for Nigerians to change. It only takes our leaders to influence appropriately and everybody will change. What we don't get is one person can influence 1,000 better than the 10 bottom trying to influence the top people. Yeah. So let's stop saying that it is everybody. Our leaders need to practice leadership by example, selfless leadership, sacrificial leadership. You cannot go into political office and say you had money before going there and so you are spending your own money while you are in office. No. Because you must exemplify what is right in your community and you must be the example of the change that you want to see in others. So going into the elections, we don't want you blowing siren, pam, pam, pum, 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 everywhere for us to clear the road for you. We want you to say you understand how we feel. And we don't want any politician that feels they are too big to talk to Nigerians. You can never be too big to talk to Nigerians and feel like you will just win the election the same way. Talk to us and exemplify the rights values that you want to see in the new Nigeria.
Let me pause you there because, as I said, this is an ongoing conversation. We're going to be having it as often and as frequent because we want to hear Nigerians speak on how they feel and what they will expect of the new leaders who will be emerging next year. Because sometimes when you hear these leaders talk or these leaders who want to run into office, you feel like, okay, yes, you've given us the textbook version, but sometimes Nigerians want to hear the version that they understand, that can comprehend, because they will be the one to tell you exactly how they're feeling. So it's good. I mean, I think Buhari's administration has been able to do some heavy lifting, invest in agriculture, building its infrastructure. Whoever is coming in next must go deep. How do you therefore use the rails? How are you going to ensure that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, what's that one, your Badagry Expressway, is decongested and people actually use the roads? You know, there are things, specifics that Nigerians are looking for. So we hope that our leaders who are emerging will begin to see and retweak their manifestos to be more specific what Nigerians need.